I have a fantastic job. I have the best job in the world personally, I believe. I was amazed by how much people wanted me to eat.
Well, we want to show off our great food.
Exactly. One of my first phrases I learned was "Im lao, kap kun ka, im lao." I can't eat anymore. Thank you so much.
Right.
Anything that I would like to do better than what I'm doing right now. I'm one of those very fortunate people to be in a job and a profession that they really love.
Okay.
Very lucky. Helping a teacher feel more confident might be through helping them, giving them more tools to use in the classroom. Hopefully helping them to realize that their contributions to education are just as valid as somebody that perhaps was born a native speaker of English. No teacher in this world is paid what they deserve. That's just the truth of the matter.
Right. We all know and accept that Thai people need a lot of help when it comes to English education. And I'm sure schools and universities are doing everything in their power to help their students. But who's helping them? Who's helping the teachers? Because they also need help. Because they need to do a much better job for a much higher standards and a much more demanding job market these days. But lucky for us, there's help. Today we're talking to RELO, the Regional English Language Office, right here at the U.S. Embassy in Thailand. And their mission is to help Thai teachers teach better English. And if you ask me, that sounds very promising. It sounds great. But why is it the first time that we heard about RELO? And exactly how long have they been around? What have they done so far for our country? And what are they doing right now? And what kind of plans do they have for the future? And I'm sure all our questions will be answered today because sitting right here with me is Kun Frances, the director of RELO, Bangkok, U.S. Embassy, Thailand. Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for stopping by.
Of course. I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, so this is not your first time coming on the show and giving interview, I'm sure. But have you ever given any interview in full Thai before? Because you've been here for so long. So I suppose you know some Thai?
Khap kun ka.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds great. But fortunately for you and your compatriots, I have not given a interview in Thai. I'm afraid I would butcher your beautiful language. My Thai is, I can understand more than I can say, but I think it's important to be clear with when we're talking about what we're passionate about. So using English is probably a little bit easier for me to be sure that I'm using the right words today.
All right. So we'll get to know all about RELO in a minute. But first of all, let's get to know you because I am surprised to know that you and your job even exist. And I think that's very, it's an amazing job to help teachers teach better English, especially in Thailand because we do need help. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up here? I mean, not here on the show, but here in Bangkok, Thailand, working at RELO.
Sure. So I agree. I have a fantastic job. I have the best job in the world personally, I believe. I started teaching English in Eastern Europe a very long time ago. And then about 20 years ago, I received a fellowship to teach English at the Prince of Songkla University in Pattani. So in 2002, I traveled to PSU Pattani and spent a year teaching at that university, getting to know Thai students, getting to know Thai culture, learning about southern Thailand, which is a fascinating place. And with that year, I was so impressed by Thailand, by the openness openness of the people and the teachers' enthusiasm for their students. And I started doing some teacher training in community schools in Pattani when I was teaching at PSU as well. So that's sort of how I ended up here. I was supposed to come for 1 year. I ended up staying for 6.
Wow.
After my year in Pattani, I moved up to Bangkok and then ended up in Chiang Mai. But I really credit my time in Pattani as really making such a strong impression on me about Thai people, Thai teachers, and Thai students. Favorable impression.
Okay, so you've been to the south and then you went to the north.
Yes.
So during that time, had you been to Bangkok or any other part of Thailand?
So I spent 1 day in Bangkok before I went to Pattani.
Only 1 day?
Only 1 day.
Okay.
So I really did spend the majority of my time, my first year in the South. I would go to Hat Yai if I wanted to see a movie in English. I would take the van to Hat Yai on a Saturday. But that was basically about what I did. I went up to Bangkok a few times as a tourist, but I really was focused on the South when I was first there.
So what was your first impression of Thailand in general when you first got here?
I was amazed by how much people wanted me to eat.
Well, we want to show off our great food.
Exactly. One of my first phrases I learned was "Im lao, kap kun ka, im lao." I can't eat anymore. Thank you so much.
Right.
So I was really impressed by the hospitality of Thai people. Thai people were interested that I had had Thai food before and that I liked it, that I could eat spicy food. And I was just really enchanted by how friendly Thai people were and how much they wanted to share their culture with me. And were interested in me, but they really also wanted to hear what I thought about Thailand and what my impressions of the country were.
And what about your students? What was it like the first time when you got into that class and teach your first class of students?
So they were silent.
Okay, as expected.
They were very quiet. I had probably 35 students in my class, and I was not used to students wearing uniforms at university, which is not what happens in the United States. So there I was in front of a class of 35 students looking at me with big eyes, all in their little white shirts and their black trousers or skirts.
And what grade are they in?
This was in university. So
university.
Usually second year. So second, third year. They were silent, but very soon we became very good friends, and we had very lively conversations in our class. I was teaching argumentative writing, so we talked about how to state your opinion and how to support it and how to maybe debate a little bit. So how do you support a point of view that you may not personally agree with? So it was really a lot of fun. The students became my friends.
Wow.
I mean, when you're at a university like PSU, everybody is in close quarters, so you get to know your students outside of class as well, just being around campus. And I did some extracurricular activities. I had a radio show on the radio station at Moa Pattani.
Wow. What was it about? What was the show about?
I recruited my other foreign teacher colleagues to do just an hour. We each did an hour a week of playing music that we liked from our own countries. So sometimes I would have a theme for mine. Sometimes my German colleague would play a certain kind of German, techno punk from the 70s, that kind of thing.
Well, if you can do that, you can do podcasts.
Apparently I can.
It's like the equivalence of like radio back then, right? Podcasting.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So you seem very friendly and you seem very lively, and I think that would play like a big part in getting people to talk. But when it comes to Thai students who don't speak English as their first language, was it hard to like draw them out a little bit?
It was, and the key to that is making a situation for the students where they can speak English with low stakes. So it can't be something that they feel a great deal of pressure.
Right.
So you can do group work. You can put the students together in small groups and have them speak English together. Students are more likely to take chances and try to use the language when I'm not listening. So I could put them in groups and have them work on a task or have a conversation, and I would circle the room listening so I could sort of hear what was happening in the different groups. So that was a good way to get them used to speaking English in a way that they would never be embarrassed. I would never put a student on the spot. I would never ask a student to answer a question if I didn't think he or she knew the answer.
And embarrass them.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's a bad policy in general. It's terrible to do to humans, but especially in Thailand, that was not going to be a successful strategy in the classroom.
It sounds great. It sounds like you never encountered any problem teaching Thai students. Was it that easy for you, or?
Every now and then, I would have some issues with plagiarism sometimes when students would turn in some writing that it was very, like, it would take me 2 minutes to find on the internet where they had cut and pasted from. So,
and what did you do when that happened?
We had a talk, and I said, I understand that. I said, I'm coming from the United States where plagiarism is considered a very big deal. Like, you shouldn't use other people's language. And a lot of the time, these students didn't need to plagiarize. They just weren't confident in their own writing. Or they didn't want to turn in something with mistakes. So this was what they did instead. It wasn't that they were lazy. They just didn't have the confidence to give me something that they knew would have errors, which is how you learn. Right. So we would have conversations about that. I'd say, really, this is quite a serious academic, something we don't do in academia in the United States. Probably shouldn't do it here. And let's think about some ways where you don't feel like you have to do that going forward.
I see. So at that time, you seem like you were enjoy teaching, right?
Yes.
And what did you think at the time about your career path? Would you be doing what you're doing for a very long time in the future, or you see yourself doing different things then?
Well, so I still very much consider myself a teacher in that I work with teachers. I can do workshops, so I can do teacher training, but I'm not really in the classroom anymore,
right,
which I do sometimes miss. But I do have a job that I think is perfect for me and I adore, and I will continue in this job until they make me retire, which they will do at some point. But no, I can't think of anything that I would like to do better than what I'm doing right now. I'm one of those very fortunate people to be in a job and a profession that they really love.
Okay.
Very lucky.
Right. So when was the first time you learned about RELO, or your role at the moment, or the department that does this job?
Sure. So I actually learned about this whole thing at a conference for teachers of English to speakers of other languages. Every year there's a huge conference in North America for teachers, and they come from all over the world, and it's 3 or 4 days of workshops and papers, and it's the big event for English language teachers worldwide.
Right.
So I went when I was in graduate school, and I was interested in Central Asia. So I went to a panel discussion about English language teaching in Central Asia, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all of those stans. And the panel was full of English teachers from these countries, and the panel was led by a regional English language officer who was based in Tashkent. And I thought, well, that sounds like a great job. And then I ended up going and my job in Patani was actually through a program from the Department of State called the English Language Fellow Program that I now administer here in Thailand.
Okay.
And so when I got to Thailand, I met the RELO at that point, who was a very impressive man who I look at as a mentor. And I heard about this job, and I thought, wow, working with teachers, getting to work at an embassy internationally, sort of helping develop the educational profile of the English language teachers, that sounds fantastic. So I thought, well, I want to do that job one day. So I ended up taking some jobs that I thought would give me the skills that I needed to eventually end up in that position. So I ended up becoming a RELO about 9 or 10 years after I first heard about it.
Right. So, and actually, the candy has paid you guys visit at your office.
Yes.
And it's at the U.S. Embassy, but it's not the same place that people go to apply for visas.
That's correct.
And that's the first time that we ever like learn about this. That okay, there's another offices.
Yes.
At the U.S. Embassy.
Yes.
That doesn't involve like giving out visas.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of people tell you that.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know that U.S. Embassy also has this.
Yes. Yeah. So I work within our department called Public Affairs section, and we are the section that does all of the cool stuff. We work with cultural exchanges, educational exchanges, sports programming, reaching out to the LGBTQI community. We do some interfaith dialogue, and then we have a whole section that monitors the Thai press and helps us keep abreast of what the Thai media is reporting about the United States, as well as sometimes helping American officials speak to the Thai press in a way that is accessible for the Thai audience.
I see.
Yeah.
So now let's deep dive into what RELO does.
Sure.
I said before that your goal is to help Thai teachers teach better English.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So how you guys do that?
So I work with a very small team, but of excellent Thai colleagues. There are three of us, right? There will be four of us very soon, and we work closely with partners, whether they are universities, Thailand TESOL organization, elementary schools, sometimes municipalities, on connecting English language resources to the teachers and communities that need them. So we have a variety of programs that we administer. For example, the English Language Fellow program that brought me to Pattani. We still bring American teachers to Thailand, unfortunately not too many, and place them at tertiary universities around the country where they get to teach and interact with their colleagues. We do virtual fellow projects, so we will have teachers in the United States teaching online, teaching courses to students in Thailand. We also have a program where if there's an institution with a specific need, they can come to us and say, we've got this project and we need some academic support. We don't really know how to do it. So we are able to link them with an academic in the United States who has expertise in that field. Maybe it's a curriculum development project. Maybe it's English for specific purposes. Maybe it is someone with a specialty in teaching English to students with a specific physical need, for example. So I think of us as the connectors between resources and the community.
Right.
I am still a teacher. I can do workshops. I can do the fun stuff. But generally, I and my team make it possible for other people to do the nitty-gritty fun stuff of actually getting sort of in there with the teachers.
Right.
Does that make sense? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you just did. And what kind of typical problems or challenges that you came across when working with Thai teachers in general?
So let me give you an example of a project that we are just sort of wrapping up. We had a colleague from if that's okay with you, if I give you an example. So one of our contacts in Chiang Mai, at Chiang Mai Ratchapat, contacted the Consulate General in Chiang Mai and said the Chiang Mai municipal mayor wanted to start a bilingual program in elementary schools.
As they all do now.
Yes, with no fees, just completely accessible to anybody.
Oh.
And so they wanted to pilot it in 11 schools with math teachers and English teachers working with 6 and 7-year-olds. And they didn't really know how to start doing this. So the Consulate General contacted us. We had a virtual meeting because this was still during the Delta wave last summer. And we were able to identify an American specialist in the United States who worked in elementary school with English language learners. And she developed workshops for us to provide to teachers on some strategies for teaching math to children through English.
Okay.
And we ended up having this teacher named Melissa Hawk, who was amazing, developed some workshops for us. We did some online training of the teachers at first, and then we were actually able to bring Melissa to Thailand when COVID had died down to work with AUA Chiang Mai to do trainings with these actual teachers. So they did sort of a 2-week boot camp of helping the teachers develop strategies for teaching math to 6-year-olds in English. And then we are in the final phase right now of observations, where we are actually, or our partner organization is observing the classes to see if the training that we put together is actually helpful for those teachers. Are they able to use the strategies that we gave them in these workshops in the classroom, or would we need to change it for future workshops?
Right.
So that's sort of a typical kind of project we do.
So project strategies and work course curriculums.
Sometimes we have we do have a lot of resources for teachers, the majority of which are online. We have books that can be downloaded. We have audio books. We've got books. We've got materials to help students learn how to make board games to learn English. We have videos online, like little short videos that teachers can use in their classroom, sort of to introduce a grammar point. So we have a website called American English that is just full of resources for teachers and students, and everything we do is free. And that is one thing we never, if we work with like an institution,
Right.
we can't and do workshops for teachers in the region. No one can charge those teachers for coming. Everything that we do is free for the participants.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard about a lot of problems that teachers encounter these days. They have a lot of pressure to be excellent, and they are expected to be fluent in speaking English as well. And that's what I have heard, that they might know their like textbook, but when it comes to like talking in class and showing how English is spoken, and that's a high demand these days, that people want to be able to really communicate in English. A lot of people cannot do that yet. And do you see that as a big problem for English teacher?
I see it as a problem because if a teacher doesn't feel confident in their own ability, then they are not going to use English in the classroom. And I feel that you are right that teachers are under a great deal of pressure to be perfect. And guess what? I don't speak English perfectly, and I'm a native speaker. So I think there's an unrealistic pressure on people everywhere to speak another language perfectly, to be able to perform on demand, and that's just not realistic.
Right.
Helping teachers develop their confidence, giving them more confidence, giving them the strategies and techniques that they can use in the classroom can help. I don't think there's any answer other than just as English is improving in Thailand, I can see it over the past 20 years. Things will continue to get better and better. And when we improve the level of English teaching, the next generation of teachers will have better English when they are actually teachers in the classroom.
Yeah, building confidence it sounds great, and it's not easy to do, is it?
It isn't. And sometimes I feel sad about what I call the bias of the native speaker. And I've seen this in many countries, in many parts of the world. There's this concept that a native speaker is always the better teacher of English or French or German, of a language. And I think that's, I don't think that's true. I think that as a native speaker, as a teacher of English as a native speaker, I have advantages in terms of my sort of innate knowledge of idioms and slang and all of that
because
stuff.
It's natural to you.
Because it's natural. Maybe my pronunciation, I can help with pronunciation. But I feel that native speakers are not overvalued. Thai teachers are excellent teachers. And we all know people whose English is perfect or almost perfect in Thailand, who have never studied outside of the United States, outside of Thailand. They've learned to speak beautiful English in Thailand from Thai teachers. So I think part of maybe the lack of confidence is this concept that a native speaker is always going to be better. And that's just not true. That's just not true.
Yeah. So Well, when it comes to confidence, how do you help them like build more at the right amount in order to do their job better, like in the classroom? And how long would that take for like each teacher to develop that?
Well, I mean, I think you have to think about shifting the culture of schools themselves and the way that teachers are treated. And I'm not talking just about Thailand. I'm talking about the world. Teachers need to be nurtured. Teachers need to feel that they need to be recognized for the resources that they are everywhere. I think helping a teacher feel more confident might be through helping them, giving them more tools to use in the classroom, making them realize or hopefully helping them to realize that their contributions to education are just as valid as somebody that perhaps was born a native speaker of English, and that they have plenty to bring to the table. I know when I was first doing teacher training, I remember thinking, well, what do I have to teach the teachers here, right? What do I have? And I ended up spending some time when I first started doing teacher training, finding out what the teachers needed, and then just sort of working from where they were, mostly helping them with strategies for big classes. How do you deal with 45 students in the classroom? How do you get away from the teacher speaking all the time, moving more towards the student speaking? And so if you can help teachers develop these capabilities while you support them and respect their ability, I think that will naturally lead to increased confidence in the classroom. But it's not done overnight.
Right.
And it's something that takes a lot of time. And I think, the good principles of schools understand that and do that, giving teachers opportunities to develop professionally, give them access to workshops within their communities.
Give them time.
Give them time.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you measure the success of your work?
So that's very tricky because so much of what we do, the results would be very, very long term. Sometimes we can measure something like an attitude shift pretty easily. So when this bilingual teacher training, for example, we did a little survey beforehand asking, what was the teacher's confidence level in teaching English or teaching math through English. And of course, their confidence level was quite low. At the end of the training, we were able to say, what is your confidence level? And it was maybe medium. So that's a big win.
Yeah.
Attitude shift is something that we can measure in the short term. But in terms of the longer term, I am one of the few RELOs that I think I can actually speak to some of that because I was a teacher here and now I'm back. One of my students at Prince of Songkla University in Pattani is now herself a professor at Fatuni University and is working in one of the programs that we administer called the Access Microscholarship Program. So seeing one of my former students become a successful instructor herself is extremely gratifying and something that most people in my position don't get a chance to see. So I think that's a win, and I see that as a symbol of success of the English Language Fellow Program. It does change people, and it creates different ideas about what it's like to be what it's like to work with an American. And I still have close friendships with the faculty that I used to teach with, 20 years later. So that is also a success because it is a cultural exchange as well. So we want the Americans that we bring to Thailand to get to know Thai people, but we want Thai people to get to know them as well. And when you build these relationships and these friendships that last 20 years, that is a huge success in my opinion.
Wow. So tell us other stories of what you are working on right now.
So we are working on we have tons of stuff going on. One thing that the U.S. government is focusing on a lot more is what we call DEIA, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility. And that's probably something for its own podcast. And I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm afraid I'll say something. I'm afraid I won't explain it clearly. Okay. But it's basically trying to give opportunities to every person, no matter their background, their physical abilities. And so one of the projects we're working on with a partner institution here in Thailand is working on teacher training for teachers who will be working with students with a hearing impairment. So students that go to deaf schools, their teachers who teach them English may not have a lot of strategies for working with that particular population. So we have an American academic with a specialty in working with students with different physical abilities. So she's going to come, do a needs assessment, look at the deaf schools, observe the classes, go back to the U.S. for a while, develop some workshop materials, and then come back here and actually train a cadre of trainers to work within teachers within that population. So that fits very well within our concept of inclusion and accessibility of educational experiences for all people.
Okay, let's say if there's one person coming to you and he or she is about to enter or make a decision to choose what to study in university, and they told you that they are considering teaching English and they're Thai, and they asked you for advice or any points that you can give them, what would you tell them?
Well, I would say that being a teacher is the best job after my job.
Okay.
My job is the best job in the world. But after that, being a teacher it's extremely fulfilling. It's extremely gratifying to see your students progress and develop as people, as human beings. I taught so 10 to 12-year-olds at one point in Chiang Mai, and watching those students develop not only in their English but also as they were growing up was very gratifying for me. I would say that, you know, if you want to be an English teacher here, be prepared for long hours. Unfortunately, as teachers, we all have. I always felt like I had to do something more lesson planning, more grading. So it does kind of consume you. It can consume you. I always say it's a calling. It's not necessarily just a profession, but it's something that is part of you as well. But I would highly recommend that people go into it if that's what they want to do, but know that the hours are long, but the benefits from a personal and professional standpoint are great. No teacher in this world is paid what they deserve. That's just the truth of the matter.
Right. So what if they have made up their mind that they wanted to do this? This is their calling.
Oh.
So how do you help them prepare to become a teacher that suits today's world? Because it's a lot different from, let's say, 3 years ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
How do you see this profession progress or shift into like different way? And how would you help a young generation become a great teacher in the future?
That's a hard question. I would say that one thing that will never change, in my opinion, is that teachers are always facilitators. That the teacher is not the font. The teacher doesn't know everything. The teacher is there to help the students learn, not necessarily tell the students what to think or how to do something. Especially with language, one of the benefits of a language class is you can really turn it over to the students. You give them, even beginners can try to use English in the classroom to construct meaning. So that should never change in terms of teaching. I think as technology develops, as things speed up more quickly, we all have access to so much information every single minute of the day. Maybe helping your students figure out what is a good source and what is not a great source. I would tell a new teacher that your job going forward is going to be not only as a teacher, you're going to be a facilitator, and it's going to be, I believe, your job to help develop critical thinking skills of the next generation, because as information comes more and more quickly, it's harder and harder to tell what is true and what is not, and how it's more important than ever to help our students understand how to make their own draw their own conclusions about things. Don't just believe what you hear on TikTok or on line or whatever those kids are using these days.
Right.
To me, that's probably the most important aspect of any teacher going forward. As the information fire hose is just turned on us, how do you help the next generation determine what is harmful, what is helpful, how to be discerning about what they believe, how they get information that is helpful to them. And, frankly, English is going to be a huge part of that because English is the language of the internet still.
Right. So what do you want to see the most, let's say, in the next 3 to 5 years from RELO's perspective?
I would love to see teachers who are more confident in the classroom, who are supported by their schools, who are supported by their Ministry of Education in their towns, by their municipalities. I would love to see that everywhere, teachers getting the support that they need. And, it's not uncommon that teachers don't receive all the support they need. And this is global, again. I'm not saying this is Thailand, but one of the things that we try to do is give opportunities to teachers to provide some support, to give them better tools to be in the classroom.
Okay.
So I would love to see confident teachers that are confident in their ability to speak English, that enjoy their time in the classroom, that feel comfortable having their students speak more than them, not be afraid of a noisy classroom because that's the sign of a good classroom.
Oh, yeah.
Have teachers that support each other as they develop professionally. This is what I would love to see.
Okay. So what's in the pipeline for RELO at the moment?
Oh, we've got all different kinds of
things,
stuff.
projects, right?
So we're working with Thailand TESOL on some workshops to introduce teachers to some of our print publications. We're working with an academic specialist who will be coming to be a plenary speaker at Thailand TESOL conference, which will be in January 27th and 28th in Bangkok. We're looking at maybe doing some outreach mini conference maybe in the southern part of Thailand. We'll be doing workshops and helping our American teachers that are here develop their educational communities. So lots of the main resource we lack is time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned before that your team's like 3 people. It's
Yes.
about to be 4.
Yes.
And what if our listeners are listening to this show and watching this show, and they might say, "Wow, that's a great job. Can I join you, or how can I help?"
Oh, well, so we are bringing on a 4th team member starting on Monday, which is very exciting. So I don't think we'll be expanding anytime soon, but we love to hear from people. We have an email address, which is relobangkok@state.gov. Reach out. We love to hear from the community. And this is how we find out how we can help, too.
Okay.
All right. I love to, for example, when we have Peace Corps volunteers in countries, I believe Peace Corps is coming back. I don't know when, but when I'm in a country with a Peace Corps community, I often work with those volunteers because they can tell me what the needs are in those communities. So they tend to be out in places where I can't get to. And so I would have when I was in Ukraine, for example, a Peace Corps volunteer could say, we really need help with these elementary school teachers. So we need help hearing about ways we can help. Right. So we always look for information in ways, and we can't always help, of course, but sometimes we can.
Okay. All right. So it's been great talking to you, and it's been very hopeful, I shall say. And this is, like you mentioned before, this is an ongoing process, and it never ends, basically, right?
No, never does.
Okay.
Yes.
So I would like to hear about your most favorite teacher from your memory. Do you still remember them?
Yes. It was Mrs. Van Cowenberg, and she was my teacher in my sophomore year at high school. And I was always a reader. I love to read. I've always loved to read. But I just remember she was so enthusiastic in helping us look at literature from a different perspective, from maybe more of a critical eye or different points of view, or interacting with the material in a different way. She's really stuck with me. So Mrs. Van Cowenberg in Penfield, New York, a suburb of Rochester in northern New York.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be proud of you also.
Yes.
All right, so thank you so much, Kun Fran.
You're welcome.
For
Thank
talking,
you.
and you can stop by anytime.
All
If there's anything we can help, let's
I
do it.
I will let you know. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. It's been
Thank
a pleasure
you.
talking to you today. Thank you.